Hello, Professor Raphael and Professor Ricardo. Here is team number 4 with Armin, Dana, Gabriela, and me, Yatin. Welcome to our research term paper presentation about DHL, which slogan also embodies the values excellence simply delivered. At first, we want to analyze the company background in order to create an understanding for the company and to make more precise decisions. In general terms, DHL is one of the largest global freight carrier in the world, which can bring advantages and disadvantages. The headquarters is in Bonn, and it is part of the world's leading postal and logistic company, Deutsche Post DHL Group, which gives the company the valuable country of origin effect, Germany. This is especially important for our selected objective, but more information on this later. So, DHL owns over 250 aircrafts, operates in 220 countries and territories, and have more than 350,000 employees worldwide. Only by looking at the numbers, we can estimate how big the company is. And next, we will go further into details and look at the SWOT analysis we created for the report. If we look at the trends, we can see the advantages of being one of the biggest, like leader in the logistic industry, market share leadership, and strong financial position. But also factors like strong brand equity and a loyal customer base are logical consequences of the company positions as one of the leaders. All the factors give DHL the power to achieve its goals with experience and money. A weakness like limited market share growth can unfortunately also derive from this fact. Other weaknesses are reduced effectivity like inefficient use of financial planning or cash flow, but also the positioning or unique selling point are not yet clearly defined. These are all points on which DHL needs to work on. The current market situation also provides great opportunities, like the possibility to expand in countries with strong economic growth, the development and growth of digital retailers, which in return bring new potential markets and new digital business models. With the right approach, DHL can exploit these opportunities by using their strengths. But we should always keep in mind that the current market has also threats, which can be permanently like changing currencies, fuel prices, or emergence of local players. Other factors are less predictable like economic and political developments, like the occurrence of government-owned competitors or the dependence on local authorities. So, after analyzing the 4 segments of the SWOT analysis, we came to the conclusion that we should pursue the SO strategy, which is using the strengths to exploit opportunities. But before we do so, we should analyze the current communication strategy, which is now presented by Gabriela.
The current DHL marketing communication components are integrated by traditional media, digital media channels, and public relations. In traditional media, we found magazines and television advertisement. In digital marketing, we find social media strategy and video tactics. And in public relations, DHL have sponsorship programs in which they consider 4 key elements: image, logistics, target group, and business potential. We found 4 communication problems which currently faces DHL Air Courier Services. The first one is related to DHL higher prices than competitors. We think they need to communicate other values to support the price difference. The second problem is about the no stable brand image and brand equity in emerging markets. For this point, it is necessary to create and strengthen the brand. We also think they require adaptation to cultural and ethical differences. Multinational and cross-cultural teams are likewise becoming even more common. DHL needs to work with local agencies. And the last problem we identify is that marketing in Asia differs from Western approach. Sometimes global organizations also face potential stumbling blocks when it comes to culture and international business. Then DHL needs to adapt the usual marketing strategies. Marketing communication objective. DHL will enhance its customer base in China by 250 new SMB customers within 6 months by generating and increasing the brand preference by communicating the functional and emotional benefits that makes DHL unique and better than their Chinese competitors in order to attract new customers.
These are the four marketing communication components who integrates our strategy. First, we have digital marketing, specifically video online display advertising, because those ads could be targeted by interests, recent searches, and by location. These efforts are measured by the response rate between the views and the clicks, and the clients could receive the whole message of our communication if they keep more time viewing the video. We will also measure the average viewing time. On the other hand, we have social media marketing. The target penetration of this channel in China is about almost the 45%, so it's a vital channel where we need to have presence. Though our main objective is to improve the brand preference, we need that people interact and engage with the brand with organic communication, building a formal community of brand loyals that help us to share our communication with their family and friends, helping us to reinforce the preference by recommendation. Also, at these platforms, we will have pay ads who directs you to our website. Our call to action is to discover all our functional benefits at our website to learn more about the solutions we offer, our global coverage, and our experience. We also have print media strategy to create emphasis on the visual presentation of the service. With the use of billboards on the most popular sites and the China's main newspapers, we are looking to increase our brand preference, to generate brand recognition and strengthen the links between the brands and other nodes of information that exist in the person's knowledge structure. Also, in this effort, we want to implement press media with QR codes, who directs the viewer to our website in all our press advertising. Taking as a reference that QR codes are used daily by almost the 65% of China's population, not just as a source to get information, but also to make a lot of their daily transactions, from a designer bag to a simple snack at the street. At the end, we have the sponsorship of events who are related with our target's interests. With sponsorships, we are looking to generate on potential customers affinity with the brand, relevance and identification through brand activations to know our solutions and benefits. Also, we are looking to have presence on the event's communication and the implementation of promotions, where potential customers could win access or special experiences at the event if they hire our services, getting new customers to the base. The segmentation of our target is at first by size, where we have at B2C men and women from 20 to 45 years, and at B2C micro business with less than 10 employees and annual earnings of less than $2 million, who could be little e-stores. We have also small business with between 10 and 50 employees and annual earnings of $10 million, who could be little product distributors. We have medium-sized business with between 50 and 250 employees and annual earnings of $50 million, who could be manufacturers or distributors. We also have big-sized business with more than 250 employees and annual earnings of more than $50 million. Our segmentation could also be by industry, where we have industrial manufacturers, services, distributors, food producers, and e-commerce. We also have geographical segmentations, where we have the China's more important cities, like Beijing, Guangzhou, Nanjing, Shenzhen, and Chongqing, where more of the 70 million of Chinese rising enterprise are located. At the end, we have the product use segmentations, where we can find end users looking for mail services, but also business looking for mail services and businesses looking for logistics services. This is the budget of our marketing strategy, where we have the cost and impacts by month and semester. At first, we have print, where we have one full page and one paid article monthly about a related theme of the industry, where DHL will take a role as the solution and leader. For this, we are taking the China's three main newspapers with national coverage. Then for the billboards, we have from 20 to 15 units in the China's 5 main cities where a huge part of the small and medium businesses are concentrated. For digital marketing, we will have online display advertising at business and technology websites, but also at sport websites to be related with our B2B and B2C customer interests. At social media, we will have 1 video post and 3 photo posts weekly. The challenge is to get a high impact on the most popular social media platforms on China, which are very different than the social media platforms at the Western. So there's no Instagram or Facebook on the radar. So we are going to use the 2 most popular social media platforms, who are Weibo, who is similar to the American Twitter, and WeTalk, who is a message service with similar function as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Uber, and Skype, with its own service to pay using your cell phone. At the end, we have the sponsorships. Our strategy is to sponsor the Chinese Grand Prix and the Shanghai's Masters Match, who are the 2 events based on the country with the highest exposure and relevance for the target. At last, we are including the agency fees for the development of creativity and the materials that we are going to publish, and also the fees for all the media management. So our total campaign cost is about $16 million, with an expected 200 millions of impacts. Obviously, not all the impacts are expected to be by Chinese people. Here we have the distribution of the media. Our strategy is to have a constant communication. So that's why we have our sponsorships at the start and at the end of our campaign, because those bring us a lot of communication during at least 1 month before the event, during and after. But we need to have an always-on communication in our other main channels, who are print, social media, and digital, who also will help us to match the communication of the sponsorship with us. And also we could implement promotions to ensure the success of the sponsorship investments.
In terms of evaluation and measurement, in order to prove the effectiveness of our marketing communication strategy and ensure the achievement of our communication objective, it is necessary to establish some metrics that will help us define if our strategy had a positive performance or if it's necessary to set some actions during the implementations. The first step is to set the KPIs per channel in order to measure the effectivity of each channel. This has to be done keeping in mind our main communication objective. For digital marketing, we will use video tactics. So our main KPIs will be the response rates between the views versus the clicks, and we also measure the average viewing time to see how the audience is responding. For social media marketing, because our main objective is to improve the brand preference, we need that people engage and interact with our brand so we can build brand loyalty. This will make that people connect with us and they share about us with their friends and family, help us to reinforce the preference by recommendation. Then, the organic communication will be measured by the engagement rate, which is the percentage of interactions per impressions. On the other hand, for paid ads, our KPIs will be the response rate between impressions and clicks. For the print media strategy, we chose to implement billboards as the average person views a billboard for about 4 seconds. And that is meant to be viewed by people on movement that makes them more impressionable of persuasive ads. So the KPI to measure the billboards is the daily effective circulation that represents number of vehicles that pass by the billboard as well as the number of pedestrians. In terms of print media, it is a bit harder to measure the success, so our solution will be to add QR codes to view our website in the print media to measure the response rate between the impressions and the visits directed from the QR code scan. Finally, for sponsorships, We are looking to generate on potential customers' affinity with the brand through sponsoring events related with our target interests. We will implement promotions where the potential customers could win access or special experience at an event if they hire our services, getting new customers to the base. So those will be the KPIs to measure for sponsorships, the conversion rate of those promotions. In conclusion, DHL is a well-established brand and they know how to use their brand equity to their favor. The challenge will be that DHL is now facing issues in establishing its brand in emerging market where the brand awareness is not as strong, so that is something that DHL will have to work on. DHL has also the potential to gain market share due to a variety of reasons and competitive advantages, as DHL is a well-established brand in several countries around the world and has a global presence. An example of the country that DHL should focus on is China, which is a country in which most potential customers can be reached through digital media due to the affinity that the people have there with digital media. There are more than 730 million active social media users in China, and in 2017, $3.2 trillion were spent over the internet in China. The right combination of KPIs can enable a sustainable and correct measurement, and a well thought out and planned IMC strategy is the key to success. DHL should also take in account that strengthening a brand image with the purposes to create a brand preference requires continuous efforts, so there should be a long-term plan to allow them to get to their objectives. Our recommendations for DHL would be that DHL should find new innovative strategies to renew and revitalize the company's brand. Even though the brand is already established for some decades, DHL needs to keep up with time to appeal to new generations and new consumers. We believe that DHL needs to develop a striking personality to keep up with its competitors. DHL should also continue to concentrate on organic growth by investing into promising markets, and not only in the terms of opening businesses, but also in terms of creating relationships with the locals in these potential markets and partnerships with local agencies. DHL should create a new strategy for each market that aligns with the local values and customers' desires. And finally, DHL needs to adapt to current times. Their online presence, for example, shouldn't be limited to advertisement online. They should get involved in current trends. We believe that DHL also should come up with more projects and campaigns that involve them with their community. For example, by getting involved with social issues that matter to their customers. This presentation was made by Team 4 Global Reach. Thank you for your attention.